Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to episode 38 of Extreme Evocast, an all-purpose Pokemon podcast where we talk about news, trivia, and everything related to Pokemon. This is the second of the 2 days that I'm going to be spending in a new place for the time being. Like I said, I didn't listen to the recording last time. I mean, I did. I didn't listen to it so intensely that I could tell a difference between the sound quality in the two different places that I've been. I didn't compare the two, but as far as I could tell, it didn't sound like there was too much of a difference in terms of the sound quality. So, even if there is, this is the last day where that's going to be affected. Though, I think I mentioned this last time, I'm moving into my dorm, my college dorm, in 3 days after this episode is released, or 2 days after this episode is released. So next time you hear from me on Evocast, it will be in my college dorm where hopefully, it's a little bit up in the air because of the whole COVID situation. But it's, hopefully my last move for a while. Who knows? They could send us home early because of the whole, the quarantine, blah, blah, blah. You don't need me to tell you that. So it's I can't say that 100% sure, but hopefully it's my last time moving to a new place in a while, so I can sort of get accustomed to the sound. I can, make sure I get all the settings right for the ambience, the acoustics of the room, so the podcast sounds the best. But for the time being, it's going to sound a little different for this episode, and probably the next one, because it's, I'm moving in, so, but I can fine-tune it as we go. Anyway, with that being said, let's get on to the episode. We have a few exciting things to talk about today, but there's a little bit of boring old news. Not boring, you know what I mean. Basic old news to talk about. First off, there is a new update coming to Pokemon Cafe Mix. Grookey is being added. It's sort of in line with the rest of the updates that have been coming out. They added Scorbunny, then they added Sobble, and of course now they're adding Grookey. To nobody's surprise. Not really much else to say to that. It's happening from August 12th to August 26th. So that's happening for 6 days after you hear this. So if you're listening to it and you're listening to this episode and you haven't done anything in the update, now's your chance. There are codes for a shiny Celebi and a Zarude. I don't know if the Zarude is shiny. I assume not. It just says shiny Celebi and Zarude. Now being so, this is the first time Zarude is ever coming out in the game. So we finally have a chance to actually use Zarude competitively, or casually as well. This is being given out for tickets, with tickets for the movie Coco, but this is only happening in Japan. So I don't actually know if this is a thing that's going on immediately in the US or other places of the world. I don't know. It just says in Japan, pre-booking for tickets for the movie Pokemon Coco is now open, and with that, serial codes are now being given for shiny Celebi and Zarude. Tickets can be purchased until December 24th, and the serial codes can be redeemed until March 31st, 2021. You can redeem multiple codes for each save file. Let's see if it says anything. There's an event database on Cerebi. Let's see if we have any. Okay, this is a really confusing page. 2020 events. Let's see. Yeah, blah, blah. Let's see if they have okay. This is items. What? I want Pokemon. Events. Can I get some events? Please? It's just showing items. Hold on. You'll have to forgive me. I'm a little bit of a noob at Cerebi.net, despite getting most of my information from this website. Okay, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to figure this out. I don't know if it's only in Japan. It seems like it for now, because I haven't really heard anybody talking about the fact that they now have Zarude and a shiny Celebi in Pokemon Sword and Shield, on Twitter, anything like that, or in my server. So we can assume that it's only Japan exclusive for now. So hopefully, that gives us some hope for the future that they'll release this Zarude and Shiny Celebi to the rest of the world, hopefully soon. But technically, this does mean that we have access to Zarude in, the competitive format, because sort of similar to Zero Aura, it wasn't in competitive, even though it was, we knew that it was a thing because you couldn't access it in the games. But I suppose this means that you can actually use it now, and it could be, despite it only being available in Japan, some people, if they really, really want to use this thing, they'll have to compromise, but this does mean that we have access to it now, so it's exciting. New Pokemon being released is always exciting. It being Zarude is, a little bit less so, in my opinion, but hey, it's something. Next, so this is related to the fact that I'm moving soon. One more episode. This episode is hopefully the last episode since quarantine that I will actually be able to do community days in Pokemon Go and actually be able to talk about them when they happen. A long-running thing ever since March on this podcast has been that, I can't do community days because of the place that I'm living at, and half because of quarantine. I know that they made it better and made it easier because of quarantine, but even then, I had zero reason to ever play Pokemon Go when I was living at my parents' home for the summer, because no Pokemon spawn anywhere. Even after the whole play-at-home thing, no Pokemon would spawn. So I was at a loss. I didn't want to play Pokemon Go ever. But because I'm moving back to my college campus, that means that I can actually play Pokemon Go. And, I don't want to hype it up too much. I don't want to get your expectations high. I'm probably not going to play it as much as I say I'm going to, as much as I want to, because, I'm going to be busy with school. We have a quarantine going on. Things might be a little bit more difficult to actually play Pokemon Go. But I'm going to try, and I can now. So, I don't have an excuse. But speaking of that, Magikarp Community Day happened this weekend, or last weekend. It's been like a week since. And, again, don't really have anything to say, but I do hope that anyone who took part in it got your shiny Magikarp. I know Magikarp is sort of a big deal because of the whole 400 Candy Gyarados thing, so getting a shiny one is probably pretty cool. I want one, but I couldn't get one. And on the same topic as Community Day, there is a vote going on for the next Community Day. I talk quite a bit on this podcast about what Pokemon is going to be next, and like I said a few episodes ago, it seems like they're going on sort of a craze where they're going back through the generations. At least they're going back through Kanto, now that they're updated for the current generation. We haven't gotten Generation 6 yet, and they've done most of the Gen 5 Pokemon, the pseudo-legendaries and the starters for Community Days. So they're going back through Kanto right now, and what I can assume is going back through Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh, through all the generations and doing as many Pokemon as they can from those generations. They're going back through and doing Kanto, and they're doing some highlights, like Magikarp, for example. And there is a vote system. Niantic has announced that the next Pokemon Go Community Days for September and October will be decided by a vote. Both September and October. At the present, we don't have any details about how the vote will happen, but the choices are between Porygon, Charmander, Grimer, and Caterpie. I have a little bit more information. That was a while ago. There's a little bit more information that was released. Niantic has confirmed some of the new details for the upcoming Pokemon Go Community Day. It'll be decided by a vote, which will be cast 1 p.m. UTC August 23rd to 1 p.m. UTC August 24th on the official Twitter. The winner will be available the Community Day on September 20th and second place on October 17th. The options are Charmander to get Charizard with Dragon Breath, Caterpie with Butterfree for Hurricane, Grimer with and Alolan Grimer to Muck, or Alolan Muck to get Fire Punch. Alolan Grimer would appear during raids, in raids during the event, or Porygon Z into Tri Attack, a new move to Pokemon Go, which has the chance of lowering the opponent's attack and defense. So you get a little bit a little bit of extra. I guarantee you that Charmander's not going to win because we already got Charmander. Caterpie's boring. Grimer's okay. I'm guessing it's going to be Porygon. I'm voting for Porygon. I like Porygon. Porygon's cool. I really enjoy Porygon. It's always been like a rare Pokemon, so getting it, going compared to Caterpie, Charmander, and Grimer, I think that Porygon is the rarest of them all, sort of just collectively over the course of the Pokemon lifetime. So I think Porygon's going to win. It could also be Charmander, though. There's a chance. I don't doubt the Pokemon community for wanting more Charmanders. But I have a feeling it's going to be Porygon. It's funny because Porygon was actually trending on Twitter on the day they released the vote, and everyone was like, why in the world is Porygon trending? And it was because of the vote. And I didn't see Grimer, Caterpie, or Muck, or Grimer, Caterpie, or Charmander trending, so hopefully this brings a good light into the fact that it might be Porygon. I hope it's Porygon. I like Porygon. Porygon's one of my favorite Pokemon, so I'm excited. And this is going to be the time where I can actually start playing Pokemon Go, so I'm excited at the opportunity to vote for the 2 community days. And, it's probably going to be Porygon and Charmander. If not Porygon and Grimer, I guarantee you it's not going to be Caterpie. Sorry, Caterpie, but, it's Caterpie. Moving on. The last little bit for the news that we have today, nothing super crazy. There is a third Sword and Shield TCG that was announced. Set contains 201 cards of various Pokemon, including Pokemon V and Pokemon VMAX like Charizard and Eternatus. It is made up of the Infinity Zone and Explosive Walker sets from Japan, and it is called Darkness Ablaze. Very exciting. You can see all the cards on the Cardex on Cerebi.net. And now, getting into sort of the pseudo topic for today, something very big that I've been very excited to talk about is Twilight Wings, number 7. Twilight Wings is over. Twilight Wings is done for the time being, at least. It says it's the final episode. Twilight Wings is done. The last episode premiered a few weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, I suppose, almost exactly, because I remember it came out like 2 days after Evocast came out, and I was angry, because I was like, I could have talked about this, but, whatever. But it was great. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about Twilight Wings as a whole, because I sort of feel like I've already talked about it enough. I don't really think that it's that big of a deal that I could justify talking about it a ton. But it is worth giving the last episode a mention and sort of just a conclusion. So the story is done. It was a wrap up to the story. John, the little kid that we've been following throughout the entire show, finally got to see Leon. Spoiler alert, by the way. He got invited to the stadium to watch the battle between Raihan and Leon. And he found Leon on the way and got, sort of bonded with him, to nobody's surprise. And went to the stadium itself with Leon, like in the stadium, and watched the final battle. It was a really good conclusion to this series. I want to say a few things. The little bit at the beginning where it showed almost, I think, all of the gym leaders sort of giving their opinion about Leon was a very nice touch. I liked it. It felt very natural. I liked it. It was funny. A good introduction. Sucked me in immediately to the final episode. And, the episode itself wasn't anything super, insane. The battle at the end was very cool. The animation was beautiful, as the animation normally is in this show, but the animation specifically for the final battle was gorgeous. Oh my god. I watched like a few videos on Twitter about like the making of it. The dude who animated it sort of posted like his rough drafts and stuff of the animation, and god, it is so gorgeous. I loved seeing everything about it. It immediately stood out to me, and I knew that I wanted to talk about it today. And oh my god, the whole episode, the whole series was absolutely gorgeous. I say this every time I talk about it. I have said this every time I talk about it. The series is beautiful, and that's even more so stated in the final episode. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And yeah, I mean, it's over. It was great. I'm excited to see if they do more things like this in the future. Obviously, the show's name, Twilight Wings, is a reference of how the Corviknight Taxi Man is in every episode. Corviknight, I guess, is in every episode. That's sort of like the central theme. Or the character that appears in every episode is the Corviknight Taxi Man, which I think is funny. It's not centered around him, but he sort of plays a part in every episode. And that's the whole point. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to miss talking about it. I'm going to miss gushing about how beautiful it is. I'm going to miss talking about the story, being invested in it. But honestly, what a ride. So good. Such an amazing series. Like I said, I really hope that they do more like this in the future. Very nice. Very good. I sort of get the same feeling as I did with Pokemon Generations, which was like that where they went through, hold on, is that what I'm thinking of, right? Pokemon Generations is like the story of Red and like the story of the first the story of the first game, essentially. Is that right? I think so. Yeah, pretty much. Oh no, Pokemon Generations was the series about it just showed a bunch of different things. Am I thinking of something else? Hold on. I know. I do enjoy Pokemon Generations. Pokemon Generations was very beautiful. I think that could be talked about in another episode more in depth. Is this what I'm thinking of? I don't want to throw the name I'm thinking out there because I don't want to seem like a dummy if I get it wrong. My Wi-Fi is not allowing me to do this. You'll have to forgive me. Give me a second. Ah, yes. Pokemon Origins is what I was thinking of. Pokemon Origins was the story of Red. That was good. I want to watch through Pokemon Origins again. I'll probably do a whole episode about Pokemon Origins. What a good little series. I forgot about that. It was a long time ago. Like 6 years ago? Yeah, 2014. Man, what a good little series. But it reminded me a lot of Pokemon Origins. Twilight Wings did, I mean. And it was like, the standalone series of the anime. It was beautifully animated, beautifully story told. That's not a sentence that works. You know what I'm talking about. It was good. It was very good. Twilight Wings reminds me a lot of Pokemon Origins, Pokemon Generations 2 in particular. I hope they do more. I mean, judging by the fact that they've done 3 now, I don't doubt it, and I'm excited to see what they do next. For some reason, the little one-offs that they do off to the side are always like a million times better than any anime episode that you could watch, and that's of course my opinion. You know how I feel about the anime, but like these little series that they do are always so great, and Twilight Wings was one of them. And God, if you haven't watched Twilight Wings, please go watch it. It's so good. So much character, so much personality wrapped into 7 small little 6-7 episodes or 6-7 minute episodes. I'm not going to gush about it anymore. I'll spare you that. This is hopefully, for your sake, the last you'll hear of Twilight Wings. But what a ride. I'm happy. I'm happy that it happened, but I'm sad to see it go. Yeah, anyway. And now, of course, it is time for everybody's favorite segment where we talk about a random Pokemon every episode. Almost said Move Tutor, random Pokemon of the week. Today's Pokemon on the chopping block is number 705. Can you guess it? That might be feasible, I think, for some people to guess. A lot of people like this Pokemon. I will say it's a very favorite Pokemon. Well, its line is a very favorite Pokemon. Number 705. If you haven't guessed it already, it's Sliggoo. Unfortunately, not Goodra or Gumi. Much more memorable than its middle evolution Sliggoo, but we're talking about Sliggoo anyway. Sliggoo is a Dragon-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 6. It evolves from Gumi starting at level 40 and evolves into Goodra starting at level 50 when leveled up during Rain, or Fog in Generation 7, in the overworld. Rain instigated by rain dance, drizzle, or primordial sea will not trigger this evolution. It has to be in the overworld. Interesting. Is there fog in Generation 7? Or, yeah, is there? Oh, there is. In the, in like the meadow and Pony Meadow. Oh, yeah, it is. I forgot. That's cool. I actually didn't know that that's how you evolve Sliggoo into Goodra in that game. Sliggoo is the soft tissue Pokemon. It has Sap Sipper or Hydration, or Gooey as its hidden ability. Gender ratio of 50-50. It is 2'7" or 0.8 meters, 38.6 pounds or 17.5 kilograms. You know, I've always really enjoyed Sliggoo. As a Pokemon, I really like the Goodra line, like, a lot. I really, really like Goodra and Goomy. And, you know, Sliggoo falls into that category, especially. Obviously, it's not my favorite. I like Goodra much more than I like Sliggoo. And I like Goomy much more than I like Sliggoo. But, you know, Goodra's at the top, obviously, because it's the final evolution. But I love the line. I think a lot of people love the line. Pure Dragon type Pokemon, which is rare to see. There's not that many dragon types, and a lot of dragon Pokemon are usually paired with another type, at least in their final evolution. So I forgot that Goodra is just pure dragon. It's interesting. How many Pokemon are pure dragon? Only a few. Yeah, see, like, literally almost every single pseudo-legendary, their first stages, their first and second stages, Dratini, Dragonair, Bagon, Sheldon, Axew, Fracture, and I guess Haxorus too, are all just dragon. Haxorus is just dragon too, I suppose. Literally the generation before. But, Dragonite is dragon flying, Salamence is dragon flying, Tyranitar's not even dragon type. Dragapult is ghost dragon. It's rare to see a normal dragon type, just dragon. And there's only a few lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if you count Druddigan. Six lines of Pokemon that are pure dragon type. So it's interesting. It's a cool typing. And that's shown by Goodra and Sliggoo, I suppose, too, which is the topic that I should be talking about today. Not really much to say in terms of, like, design. I mean, it's a snail. I like that they sort of made, because Goodra's just like who knows what this thing is supposed to be. And, Gooby's just like a blob, but they gave Sliggoo a little soft shell, which I like. It's cute. It gives it a little bit of personality. It could have just been like a tinier Goodra, but they gave it like a snail, which I suppose works because it's all made of goop. Let's see. What kind of Pokedex? What does the Pokedex entry say about this Pokemon? It drives away opponents by excreting a sticky liquid that can dissolve anything. Its eyes devolved so it can't see anything? Really? It can't see? That's not said anywhere else, is it? Its 4 horns are high-performance radar system. It uses them to sense sounds and smells rather than using ears or a nose. It drives away opponents. Yeah. It has trouble drawing a line between friends and food. It'll calmly try to melt and eat those it gets along, even those it gets along with. This Pokemon's mucus can dissolve anything. Toothless, it sprays mucus on its prey. Once they're nicely dissolved, it slurps them up. It crawls along sluggishly. The swirly protrusion on its back is filled with its brain and other organs. Why? Its shell has its brains in it? What's the point? Interesting. I lost the area. Here we go. Its entire body is covered with gooey mucus that can dissolve anything. Be sure to put gloves on if you're going to touch it. Although this Pokemon isn't very strong, its body is coated in a caustic slime that can melt through anything, so predators steer clear of it. The lump on its back contains its tiny brain. It thinks only of food and escaping its enemies. Jesus. They really, devolved this thing, huh? What does Goodra say? I mean, eventually we'll say something. We'll talk about Goodra once it appears on Random Pokemon of the Week. Yeah, here it's like, oh, this very friendly dragon-type Pokemon will hug its beloved trainer. An amazingly friendly Pokemon. Like, what? It's very friendly towards people. If you grow close to it, Goodra will hug you. Like, what happened to the acidic dissolves anything it touches of Sliggoo? Why did it go from being like extremely dangerous and like it'll dissolve you even if you're best friends with it to like, oh, it's your best friend and it loves you with all of its heart, and Sliggoo's like, it will eat you even if you're its friend. It doesn't matter. Well, let's move on. It's trivia. Sliggoo was designed by Saya Tsuruda. Yeah, sorry. This is a person who is an illustrator for the Pokemon trading card game. Apparently also designed Sliggoo. Saya Tsuruda designed the following Pokemon: Audino, Galvantula, Aromatisse, Gumi, and Indeedee. I guess technically they probably also designed the whole lines for the Pokemon mentioned. Or at least, designed Sliggoo and Gumi. Maybe not Goodra, but it doesn't say anywhere about Sliggoo, though it does say on Sliggoo's page that it was designed by them. So Sliggoo's Pokedex entry in Moon contains an error. Its slime is referred to as Mucus instead of Mucus. Mucus is a noun as a synonym for slime. Mucus is an adjective and describes something related to mucus. I actually didn't even notice that. It's spelt, well, I guess it's not spelt wrong, it just uses the wrong word. Sliggoo is based on gastropods such as slugs, nudibranch, and semi-slugs. What is nudibranch? Oh, they're like sea slugs. Okay, that makes sense. Its snail origins as well as its dragon typing and elongated body may mean it could also be based on the don't know how to pronounce that. Lou Carcol. That's a Pokemon. A mythical serpent / mollusk creature from French folklore. Hey, that makes sense, because it's Kalos. How fun. I like that. Okay, anyway, for the final, or the last part of the Bulbapedia part, the 1 out of 2 for random Pokemon of the week is its shiny rating. Okay, like, I think it's safe to say that Sliggoo and Gumi and Goodra have really good shinies. They're pretty much exactly the same. The blue, the purpley white color that is its main body turns into gold, or like a bright yellow. Its sort of belly turns into like a salmon color, and its cheeks are purple. And its eyes are purple. Very cute. The coloring is really good, of course. Gumi, Goodra, and Sliggoo pretty much all have the same shiny. I'm going to double check that. Yep, Goodra is the same thing. I assume Gumi is also the same thing, if I remember correctly. Yep, Gumi is almost exactly the same. So yeah, I mean, this is a top tier shiny. I gotta say, I want to be biased here and give it a good rating because I love the Goodra line in general, but I'm gonna try and hold it back. Even then, with all bias gone away, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. This is a good shiny. Maybe even a 9. Oh, it's hard. It's so hard. Okay, I'm gonna say 8.5. 8.5 out of 10 for Sliggoo. And I suppose that will also go for Goodra and Gumi. So if I do random Pokemon of the week and end up giving them a different one, you can yell at me because they're all exactly the same. It doesn't make sense that I give them a different rating. So 8.5 for Sliggoo. And surprisingly, I was actually able to, call this milking it or, scraping the bottom of the barrel. I actually managed to find a competitive moveset for Sliggoo. I always feel weird when I do a middle evolution and it's like, okay, nobody uses this thing because it's not Little Cup and it's not it's not fully evolved. But some middle evolutions take good use of like Eviolite, like Doublade, because Aegislash is just overpowered. And I guess this also goes for Goodra. Well, Goodra's UU. Is Goodra really UU? Is Goodra not that good? Interesting. Okay, I take that back. Well, there's a never used move set for Sliggoo. You know, it's in the tier not fully evolved. But like there's a few of them that appear, like Chansey, Doublade, like I said, Gligar, are the tier Pokemon that are just not fully evolved, but they can still be good. Like, for example, Goodra here, or Sliggoo here, has a never used. As far as special tanks go and never used, Sliggoo manages to hold its own thanks to a number of desirable traits, notably its unique mono-dragon typing in conjunction with its high special bulk, which enables it to check a myriad of threatening special attackers such as Magmortar, Rotom, and Life Orb Samurott. Sap Sipper furthers Sliggoo's whaling capabilities, letting it serve as a hard counter to Lillieceon without Hidden Power Ice, one of NU's most fearsome Pokemon, as well as granting it the ability to switch into Sleep Powder from the likes of Lillieceon and Vivian. Curse is another one of Sliggoo's main draws when compared to other special tanks in NU, as it is incredibly difficult to take down should it accumulate several boosts. Alternatively, Sliggoo can fulfill the role of an offensive tank thanks to its wide offensive move pool and a powerful stab option in Draco Meteor and a decent special attack to complement. However, Sliggoo relies on Eviolite in order to effectively switch into special attackers, making it vulnerable to the ever-present knockoff and, to a lesser extent, Trick. Sliggoo also tends to take away offensive momentum from the team due to the nature of rest plus sleep talk. Lackluster defense proves to be cumbersome as well, and somewhat difficult to manage in a metagame with influential physical attackers such as Kangaskhan, Tauros, and Rhydon. You know, I'm always a huge fan of... You know, because we tend to have some pretty crappy Pokemon on Random Pokemon of the Week just because of the nature that there's not every Pokemon could be a winner. You know, it's like, you know, most of the times, like, this Pokemon's garbage, you should never use it. But, you know, it's nice seeing something like Sliggoo actually get some time in the spotlight, because it can be pretty good with Eviolite, because I mean it's literally the predecessor to Goodra. You know, it's the middle evolution of Goodra, and Goodra's already pretty darn good, so it's not surprising to me that Sliggoo is actually not that bad of a Pokemon, and it makes me really happy to see like such a positive write-up about this Pokemon when it's literally just a middle evolution of Goodra, who's not even in OU. This is written by Hootie, by the way, with an IE. And the set is Curse. Curse, Outrage, Rest, Sleep Talk, with Eviolite, Sap Sipper is its ability, Careful Nature, which is plus special defense and minus special attack, 252 HP EVs, 168 defense EVs, and 88 special defense EVs. And you know what? I'm going to keep reading a little bit here. Oh, there's another one. There's another set. Okay, I'm gonna read through this other set. I'm not gonna read everything. Wow, there's a lot here. There's so much. There's 2 sets, and each of the sets are like incredibly detailed. Well, good job, Hootie. Hootie really likes Sliggoo, apparently. The other set is offensive with Draco Meteor, Sludge Bomb, Muddy Water, Thunderbolt, Eviolite, Sap Sipper, Modest Nature, plus special attack minus attack, 92 HP, 252 special attack, and 164 speed EVs. Wow. I'm going to look at other options. I'm going to read this out. Well, no, I'm not going to read it out. You sort of need to read through the entire thing to get the context for the other options, so I'm not going to read it out. I'm just very surprised and very happy that Sliggoo is getting so much love, you know, even in never used, which is not that horrible of a tier. I mean, you know, it's above PU, but like it's above PU, you know? Well, that made my day. I don't know why that made my day so much. It's nice and very refreshing to get sort of a positive outlook on maybe a lesser than, you know, lackluster Pokemon on in terms of competitive viability, but it's a nice change. You know, we normally get really crappy Pokemon at Random Pokemon of the Week competitive-wise. So seeing this is very enlightening. It makes me very happy to see. Okay, that's going to wrap it up for Random Pokemon of the Week. And we're going to get on to the main topic of today's episode, which I meant to put a little disclaimer at the beginning. I don't know how well this is going to work out as a conversation topic. I'm sort of testing the waters here. when it comes to talking about this, because like I said, I don't know if this is a conversation topic that I can really go super in depth about. And because of that, I think that this episode is going to be a lot shorter than the rest of them. I mean, we're only 35 minutes in getting to the main topic, and this main topic is something I don't really feel that confident in talking about. And it's more so just sort of a food for thought, like a theory, more so than like a conversation topic. I don't know the right term to phrase it. Like, it's just sort of a, hey, I'm getting this out there because I think it's interesting kind of thing to talk about. And like, it's sort of a dilemma that I've been dealing with personally. And that's another reason that I'm a little bit not as confident as I normally am, because I don't know if this is a dilemma or something that is as relatable as some of the other things that I might talk about. Because, you know, I'm a bit of a like obsessed person when it comes to Pokemon. I take it very seriously because it's a huge thing in my life, and I do know a lot of people like that. But obviously, people coming in and listening to this podcast aren't going to be as into Pokemon nearly as much as I am. I consider myself a super fan, maybe even on the verge of being obsessed with it. That's a joke, and it's also half not a joke. But like, and I just, it sounds insane for me to say this, but like, I genuinely do not know if this is something that other people, problems that other people have. And the problem that I've been having recently is not knowing which Pokemon game to play. And I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out here. There's two sort of scenarios that I can see this becoming a problem. My scenario, where I've played every Pokemon game, every main series Pokemon game before. This is exclusively about the main series Pokemon games, by the way. This is not including Mystery Dungeon, Ranger, any of the spin-off games. This is solely the main generations of Pokemon. I'm at a point in my life where I have played through every single main series Pokemon game at least twice. You know, not counting Sword and Shield, I would say maybe even at least 3 or 4 times per game, because I've only played through Sword and Shield twice because it's new. I've played through Generation 4 more times than I can count, with, you know, me having Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum as a kid. You know, I played through those multiple times. I've played through Black and White a few times. I've played through Black White 2 a few times. I played through Kanto. God, who knows how many times I've gone through the Kanto region, whether it be in Gold and Silver, or the originals, or Fire Red and Leaf Green. I've played through Hoenn quite a few times. I played through it recently. I played it as a kid. I played through Omega Ruby at least twice. So, like, as far as I can tell, I've played through every Pokemon game at least twice. And like I said, not including Sword and Shield, it's probably close to 3 or 4 times per game. And, like, I'm sort of at a point where, like, even now, I still want to play through these games. I love these games from the bottom of my heart, and it makes me so happy to play through them. And there's so much replayability in these games because of the different things you can do. You can do a Nuzlocke, you can do Monotype, you can add extra rules, you can do an egg lock, a cage lock, whatever you want. You can play this game however you want with whatever combination of Pokemon you could possibly imagine that can be found in the games. And as these games get older and they get more and more expansive, new games come out, more Pokemon are released, more features are added, more things become available to you. And there's so many different ways to play these games. Pokemon has probably the most replayability of all, like, compared to a lot of games. I would never say that Pokemon has the most replayability, because that's just not true. But it has a lot. And with that, I've been sort of at a Pokemon craze recently. It's all I've been able, not all I've been able to play. Jesus, like that, at that point I would have a problem. But like, I really enjoy playing through Pokemon games. Just the formula that the main series Pokemon games put you through is so appealing to me, and it makes me want to play them over and over again. Literally, after I finished through playing Emerald for this episode of for that episode of Evocast that I did, I wanted to play through it again. Like, the next day I woke up and I'm like, I want to play through this game again with a different team. And, you know, that's obviously exemplified by the fact that I love Hoenn. But that still holds true for most of these games. And, like, when I'm in this craze of I want to play through a Pokemon game, the first thing I think is, okay, which one? And, like, this could be easily debunked with the thought of, and this is a great point. Whenever I end up playing through a Pokemon game, it's usually because I am like, okay, like I see like Generation 5, like a meme of like Black and White on my timeline on Twitter, and I'm like, oh man, I forgot how good those games are. I want to play through Pokemon Black and White again, which is something that happened recently. And you know, that is a great solution to this problem. You know, oh, you just wait until you get a soft spot for a certain game, or you don't even think about which one should I play because the answer just comes to you. You know, the reason why you want to play a Pokemon game in the first place is you see something that reminds you of a game, and you're like, oh, I want to play through a main series Pokemon game, specifically this one. And that's a valid answer. You know, that's a good sort of just like wrap up to that quote unquote question. It's like, okay, you just play through the one that you want to the most. But I was in a dilemma recently where I was just feeling I want to play through a Pokemon game, and I didn't know which one. And there was nothing that I could find that could scratch my itch of Pokemon. And I was surprised by this. This is something that doesn't normally happen to me. I know that I've gone off track. I know that I sort of started this with a bullet point, and I never finished the bullet points. And I'm going to address that right now. I was saying, you know, there's two scenarios. That scenario, and you're a newcomer, lesser so, I think. Very, very much lesser so. You're a newcomer to Pokemon. You've never played a Pokemon game in your life. Which one do you play? You know, there's so many. Obviously, the main thing that you could do, I think, in that scenario is when I'm first getting into a game series, the sort of flowchart that goes to my head is there a collective story throughout these games? Like, I was gonna say Kingdom Hearts. I actually don't even know if that's true. You know, something that it's like there's a game, there's a sequel, there's a third game. It's all one story. Then the answer would be play the first one. Or unless there's an exception to that rule. It's most always play the first one, then play the second one, then play the third one. You got it. Or in the case of a game series like, say, Persona, play the most recent one. Play 5 Royals, because it's the most recent one. It's the most refined. I don't know anything about Persona, by the way. This is just an example. But, you know, like, you know, an answer would be, oh, play through Sword and Shield. It's the easily accessible one because it's on the most recent console. It just came out. There's still a fan base for it. There's discussion going on about it. And that's a really, really good point. And I think in answer to this sort of theoretical question that I put up here, which one should I play? But, you know, there's that off chance that I think it could be argued that maybe Sword and Shield isn't the best one to start with. Maybe you should start with Red and Blue, because it's the very first one. You know, get introduced to the series like everyone else did. Get introduced to the very first thing that everyone else was introduced to, and that's also a valid point. Or you could get recommendations from a friend. If you ask me, I would say play through Generation 3. You know, someone who likes Sinnoh, maybe play through Sinnoh, or play through X and Y, because it's for beginners. You know, it was catered towards people who were just getting into the game, which is a great, you know, so it's a great game to start out with if you're just getting into Pokemon. And, you know, so those are the two scenarios that I've sort of that I've come up with, that someone would ask, which one should I play? You're like me, and you've played every game, and you just want to play through another Pokemon game. Which one do I pick? Or you're a noob, and you've never played through a Pokemon game in your life. You've like never heard much about it. You want to get into the game. Which one do I pick? And the beginner one is a lot more easy. I sort of explained, which one you should pick. I think that the three top contenders to that would be Generation 1, Red and Blue, X and Y, or Sword and Shield. The most recent game. If you're listening to this 5 years in the future, the most recent game. And that's easy. That's sort of an easy question to answer because you have games to compare it to. Like I said, you have games like Persona. You have games that have a story. I can't think of any sequel, chronological games right now. I apologize, but you know what I'm talking about. And then there's my scenario where I just wanted to play through a Pokemon game. And I went through all my options. I have so many of my Pokemon games. I own pretty much every game. And I even, I homebrewed my 3DS so I can get specialized ROMs and stuff on my 3DS. I was like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to play through the first thing that comes to my mind, and I'm going to just see if I enjoy it. And the first thing that comes to my mind was, I want to do a randomizer. So I took Pokemon White, or Pokemon Black, and I randomized it, and I put it on my 3DS. I started playing, I got to the first gym, and then I went to bed, and I woke up, and I didn't want to play it again. And I'm like, this normally happens. Pokemon is, infamous for, you start up a game, you stop for the night, and then you never pick it up again. And I didn't want to play through. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's not what I wanted to do. So I decided to start up my Ultra Moon game because I'm like, I really like Alola and I want to play through Alola again. So I decided to start doing Nuzlocke in my Ultra Moon game. And, I got to the first trial. I even found a shiny Abra on the way. And I was enjoying myself. And then I went to bed. And then I haven't played it since. That was 2 weeks ago. Or a week and a half ago. And I haven't played it since. I didn't want to. The next day when I woke up, I didn't want to. I downloaded Pokemon Crystal Clear, a sort of open world Pokemon Crystal ROM hack. I played it up until I went to bed that night, and I haven't picked it up again. I downloaded Pokemon Gaia, a fan game / ROM hack for Pokemon Fire Red Leaf Green that I've heard really, really good things about. I got my starter Pokemon, I went to bed, and I stopped playing it. And you might just be like, oh, Lily, you're being, you're too stingy about this. Obviously you should just pick a game and you should stay with it. But I was surprised at how I didn't know which one I wanted to pick. I tried picking a lot of different games. I tried picking a traditional ROM hack with Pokemon Gaia. I tried doing something new, something I've never played before with Pokemon Crystal Clear. I tried doing another randomizer. I tried doing a Nuzlocke. And I don't know. I want to say that it was that I've just burned myself out of Pokemon and I should stop playing for a while, or I've gotten bored of the formula. But the whole reason why I did this in the first place was because I wanted to play through another game and I enjoyed the formula. And I'm thinking to myself now, sort of in reflection to this, I still don't know which one I want to pick. I have every Pokemon game at my disposal, and I don't know which one I want to pick. And I want to know if this is something that other people have experienced. Whether it doesn't just necessarily have to be with Pokemon. It could be with other games. It's almost like I'm too privileged. It's like I want to say illusion of choice. That's not the right term. Over-choiced. I'm over-choiced. I have so many choices and I'm overwhelmed and I don't know which one I want to do. It could be that. I don't know. It's, like I said, this isn't a question. This isn't a personal experience that I really necessarily just want to share. It's sort of just a food for thought sort of situation. Have you ever had this happen to you? And I thought it was interesting that it happened to me. I sort of stopped playing, and I haven't picked up a Pokemon game since. I sort of got out of that craze, and it's my wish to play through a main series Pokemon game died down, and I imagine that it'll come back sooner or later. I sort of go through these phases where a certain game really catches my interest for a while, and then I stop playing it for a little bit, and then I go back to it like a month or two later. And that happens with Pokemon quite a lot. And that's natural. And it could almost be that my sort of dying down of wanting to play Pokemon happened in that time where I was trying to choose a game. And that's also perfectly feasible. And, you know, like, this isn't like a cry for help. You know, this isn't like a please help me, I don't know which Pokemon game to play. I think I'm obsessed. No. Like I said, this is just something that I wanted to share. Something that I didn't really necessarily have a topic I wanted to talk about today. And I thought that sharing this interesting sort of moral decision that, not moral, you know what I mean, choice, this just choice that I had to take, would be an interesting thing to discuss and sort of clear my mind about the frustration that it's caused me. And I hope that you can relate to it, or I at least hope that you can relate somehow with your favorite game series. You know, it might not even be Pokemon, or something else that might be happening in your life. Maybe, you know, you're really in the mood for a Subway sandwich, but there's so many choices you don't know which one you want to do, and you're like, I don't know what I want to order because there's so many good options, you know. Sort of a convoluted example there, but I hope that I'm coming off clear. I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say. Just something that I wanted to throw out there. You know, I'm not looking for an answer. I'm not looking for help deciding what Pokemon game to choose. It was just something that I thought would be enjoyable to talk about, and something enjoyable to maybe share out there and get some feedback and some, you know, get a discussion started maybe with either just you, with your brain, you know. If someone listens to this and they agree or they have good thoughts about it or whatever, then I'm happy. And, you know, I'm happy to share my personal experiences with Pokemon. Like I said, that I've wanted to more in the past, and I think that this is a perfect way to do it. Speaking of Pokemon Crystal Clear, by the way, Pokemon Crystal Clear is something that I'm probably going to play through and do a little review and like a discussion about it, like I did with Pokemon Emerald. I wanted to say that when I mentioned it, but I didn't want to go on too much of a tangent. But yeah, the game is really cool so far. You know, sort of ignoring the fact that, like, oh, I stopped playing it after like the first few hours. It's really cool. And I think that Crystal Clear is an outlier sort of in those examples, because I do want to keep playing that game. Not right now, but I think that once I do get back sort of into actually playing the Pokemon games, that I think that I will definitely want to play through that game. And I think that is something that I would be super excited to talk about on Evocast, because, you know, I like doing little reviews and discussions about games that I've played. And I think that Pokemon Crystal Clear is perfect for a podcast, because there's so many new things, about Crystal Clear. If you're interested in learning more about Pokemon Crystal Clear, Picasprey did an amazing review of the game on his YouTube channel. If you don't know what I'm talking, you have no idea what I'm talking about, just look up Pokemon Crystal Clear. I guarantee you that Picasprey's video will show up, and it's sort of the inspiration for me wanting to play it, because I was enamored by the game and the ROM hack. I'm not going to go into too much detail about what it is, but if you're interested in learning about that game, I totally recommend it, because it's so cool, so many new things, and I definitely want to talk about it on this podcast. Anyway, sort of a different formula for this episode of Evocast. I liked it. I liked sharing my experiences like that, much more personal experiences, and sort of in sort of an analytical way. And I hope that you enjoyed it too. But of course, before we end off the episode, we have one more segment to do. Everybody's favorite segment, where we talk about a random move every episode. Move number 399. I'm getting better at remembering these move numbers, even so long after I generate them. Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse in Japanese is Evil Pulse. Amazing. Is a damage-dealing dark type move introduced in Generation 4. Roman numerals are hard sometimes. It was TM79 in Generation 4, TM97 in Generations 5, 6, and 7. And TM20 in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. It is TR58 in Generation 8. It is a special move. It is a PP of 15, a power of 80, an accuracy of 100. Dark Pulse inflicts damage and has a 20% chance of causing the target to flinch and can hit non-adjacent Pokemon in triple battles. Dark Pulse is increased by 50% when used by a Pokemon with the ability Mega Launcher. Huh? Oh, powers up Aura and Pulse moves. That's, Clauncher, right? Clauncher and Clawitzer. Oh, and Mega Blastoise. Interesting. I didn't know that that their ability did that. But it apparently Mega Launcher powers up this move. Makes sense because it powers up Pulse moves. Let's see. The user releases a horrible aura imbued with dark thoughts. It may also make the target flinch. Jesus. That's horrible. I guess that's what dark moves pretty much are, but jeez. There's a lot of Pokemon that can learn this move. I mean, it makes sense. It's a pretty common move. Let's see. There's not much trivia about this, or not much information. It's just, like, the page is huge, but it's just because there's so many Pokemon that have both used and can learn this move. And it looks like there's no trivia. So I think that is going to do it for me for today. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to follow the Extreme Evocast Twitter at twitter.com/ExtremeEvocast and follow my personal Twitter at twitter.com/Lillieceon. You can get updates on my streams, my YouTube videos, and I retweet every Evocast post that I make. So if you don't want to follow Evocast, you can at least follow my main and still get updated. So I hope you all have a great day. I hope you enjoyed listening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!